Hi, my name is Kevin Colley with the K-State Rural Education Center, and I wanted today to give you a brief startup guide and overview of the equipment on the Juniper Robotics Gadget, which is pictured here. Some of the features that it has, as well as just a general startup and how to use it as a with your computer as a remote control with the Wi-Fi signal that the gadget produces. So going over the large level buttons and everything on the gadget, the only button that you really have to push is this blue button. It might not be blue on your gadget specifically, but this button on kind of the back end of the gadget, if you push that, and the wheels are sometimes will move a little bit, but you push that and that turns the gadget on. You can tell it's on because it has a little LED light that pops up on this Juniper Robotics board. Now that it's on, it's already producing a Wi-Fi signal. If you turn it over to the bottom, if you received your gadget through the K-State Rural Education Center, it should have a label on the bottom, which is the name of the Wi-Fi signal it's producing. So this one is Gadget 127, along with a little sticker here that says, for support, please contact us at support@juniperrobotics.com. If you have any problems with your gadget in any way, either with the Wi-Fi signal being produced, if you just have a question about how to clear something, if it's not, don't necessarily reach out with aspects of our curriculum for the K-State Rural Education Center, but if you just need support for the hardware, especially on the gadget, feel free to contact support@juniperrobotics.com. Kind of turning it back over, and I'll turn it back off there. On the top here of the gadget is an ESP32 camera board, which the camera is mounted right here, and this board is kind of what you'll be using. It's the central computer for the entire gadget and what is controlled. This little port right here is a micro USB port, and I might mention too, you can take a micro USB and plug that in. That is how you'll transfer code from your computer onto the ESP32 if you decide to do any of these extension activities that I write. But I might mention with the micro USB cord, if you go out and buy one, you really need to make sure that it is a data transfer cable in addition to a charging cable. Not all micro USBs will work unless it's specifically a data transfer cable because it has more wires to actually make it function. So we have our ESP32 board on the top here, kind of have some of the features associated with that, and the micro USB port. On the front here, the kind of eye looking things are distance sensors. We won't do anything with that for a while, but that's what those are. And if we turn it back over to the bottom, we have some line following sensors. So if you were to take a piece of paper and draw a line with a Sharpie, you could in theory code this to have that the line following sensors. The gadgets we selected for the artificial intelligence camp and artificial intelligence extensions specifically because of this ESP32 camera board. It includes some applications of artificial intelligence we'll hopefully get into to where you can code it to do facial recognition, to do object recognition. It's not the best camera in the world for sure, but it is a camera that you can code for artificial intelligence purposes. With that, I will hop over, we'll turn this back on. So again, it's producing its Wi-Fi signal, and we'll hop over to screen share to see how to connect to the Wi-Fi signal and how to pull up a remote control.
Okay, just to briefly show you how to use the gadget as a remote control. Use your computer or your phone or your iPad. Really, any device with a browser will work with the gadget. But how to use any of those devices as a remote control for the Juniper Robotics gadget. So if we go to our Wi-Fi, I've already connected to the gadget, and as we saw on the bottom of the gadget, it was Gadget 127. So we already have it. We see it's producing this unblocked Wi-Fi password. If you turn on 10 gadgets in the same classroom at once, you'll have 10 different Wi-Fi passwords pop up. So that's why each of the gadgets are labeled. So they'll actually have, so you want to, if your gadget is Gadget 127, that's the one you want to connect to. It might not pop up here in the preferred networks. You might have to go into other networks. You might just have to look for it a little bit, but it should be named Gadget with those numbers following it. So if you connect to that, it will now, you're now connected to the gadget. you don't actually have Wi-Fi right now. And so if you refresh this, we now have the little remote control module for the gadget. So you can drag this around. We can see my office. The camera isn't a perfect quality or anything, but you can spin it around, see where it's going, and have it move around like that.
Finally, I just want to show you how to change the batteries on the gadget. The batteries are CA123As, which are kind of bigger batteries than AA's. They're a little bit harder to find, but they're still widely available at Best Buy, Amazon, some other places as well that sell batteries. But Amazon's probably your best bet to grab them. They're not very expensive. They're just kind of harder to find. And in order to change the batteries, all you got to do is take these 4 screws off and get into it. Some of the gadgets will come with 2 batteries, some will come with 3. The ones with 3, they're the same, they just come with a longer battery life, but obviously you have more batteries to replace when they run out. And the top board will just pull off and you replace the batteries just like you would AA batteries or any other batteries. So yeah, this has been just the introduction to the gadget, some of the hardware included on the gadget. The biggest thing to remember is that you're working with an ESP32 CAN board, and that will become important when we start coding. Feel free to reach out with any questions, and look forward to seeing you in the next video.